Selling your home, whether it's a good market or a bad market, still involves excellent presentation in your home. You can have the best marketing ever and the best real estate agent, the best house, but if you don't present it well, many buyers are going to be put off by that. And as humans, we got 5 senses. So on this episode of Bald Prairie Real Estate, I'm going to teach you how to engage all 5 of those senses to help sell your house faster and for more money. Hey everyone, welcome back to Bald Prairie Real Estate. My name is Matthew Pfeiffer. Do you like learning about real estate? How about getting monthly market updates on all of Canada's major real estate markets? Well, if you do, why don't you go ahead, do me a favor right now, hit the subscribe button, because then you won't miss those awesome monthly market updates and real estate education. Plus, of course, you wouldn't want to miss my fantastically terrible bad dad jokes like this one. My mom always told me as a kid that I could be anyone I ever wanted to be. Turns out she lied to me because identity theft is a crime. Over the past few months, I've really focused my videos on helping buyers. So I'm shifting gears here and we're gonna start helping out the sellers, giving you some awesome tips, tricks on how to get your house sold. And don't worry buyers, I have not forgot about you. I still have some fantastic topics gonna be covering later in the year. So stay tuned for that. This is going to be the first in a series of videos where I'm going to eventually get to my full seller's guide that's going to come in a couple of months. So stay tuned for that awesome comprehensive seller's guide. But you can use these tips in all of these videos to sell your house whether you're using a real estate agent or you're not. Yes, the real estate agent did say you don't need a realtor. Now, don't tell all my real estate friends that. They're going to get mad at me. But speaking of my real estate friends, if you are looking to sell your house and you want some help and some recommendations for a real estate agent in your market, I'm gonna have my contact information below. You can reach out to me and I know I've got a good realtor in your market. But enough with that, let's get on to this. Let's talk about how we can engage the 5 senses that a human has to help you get your house sold. Let's start off by talking about sound. Now, if you live near a busy street or a freeway, you're gonna get traffic noise and it's a little off-putting to buyers. But if you can just keep the windows closed for those showings, it's gonna help deaden that sound a little bit. It's not perfect, but it'll help. How about a noisy neighbor or a barking dog? That's one thing I find when you go up to a house and the neighbor's dog is barking like crazy, kind of sets everybody off a little bit. So go over nicely, talk to your neighbor, tell them you got a showing at 2 o'clock, see if they maybe keep the dog inside for half an hour for you. It might help you out. Once somebody's inside your house though, one thing that I find is exceptionally effective is when somebody puts on one of those TV stations where they've got soft music playing in the background. It really helps set the mood for buyers, makes it feel more welcoming in the house, more homely. Plus, if you do have traffic noise, it's gonna deaden that a little bit more. Now, let's keep it family friendly, guys. Don't put on a station with explicit lyrics or something like that. Yeah, I've seen that before. Something like soft jazz, that'll work really well. So that's the sound side of things. Have you ever gone away on vacation and noticed when you come back, your house has a smell to it? Well, guess what? Every buyer that walks in your house is gonna have that exact same experience. Pet smells is a very strong one. Dog smell in the house, you notice it right away. Cat litter especially is one that you will smell as soon as you get near the cat litter box. So empty it out before you have a showing. It'll make a huge difference. If you're a smoker, I'd recommend getting your carpet shampooed and the walls washed. That'll help remove that smell a little bit. And then if you can smoke outside, it'll make a big difference. Because when I'm with buyers and they go in a house that's been smoked in, most of them find that a detriment than a benefit. So that'll help get your house sold if you don't have that smoke smell in there. If you have kind of a wet, damp smell in your basement, an air freshener can also make a big difference. Now, don't turn it up to full blast because that can be almost as off-putting as a wet or damp smell. Now, this is a little bit of a ploy as somebody caught on once before. I love freshly baked goods, but it does make a huge difference if you can go and bake a batch of cookies or something like that. It absolutely seals the deal on making this house feel like home for a buyer. So those are some of the tips you can use to help a house smell better, improve your chances of getting it sold. What about sense of touch? What can you do for that? Well, having the appropriate temperature in the house is gonna be a big factor. So in the middle of summer, have the air conditioning on or the windows open to have a little bit of a breeze. But what about the winter? Well, you're gonna wanna have the heat on because the last thing you want is the buyers that come out from outside, it's super cold out, and now the house feels just as cold. A nice warm house is gonna feel a lot more welcoming. How about if you've got an area where you should have some flooring in, you just haven't got to getting that finished yet? Go ahead, finish that, especially if it's in a basement. Cold concrete feels terrible under the feet. Nice carpet is fantastic. And then the last thing you wanna do is make sure the house is clean top to bottom. Make sure all the surfaces are clean, everything's been dusted. It's just gonna be way better. That's how you improve the sense of touch when you wanna get your house sold. I think it's pretty obvious that if a house doesn't look good, it's gonna be tough to make it appealing for buyers. So of course, the sense of sight is really important. Now, making a house look good has a lot of different components to it. Let's talk about the first, photos. And the reason why I say that's the first is because that's how somebody's gonna first be exposed to your house. So you wanna make sure that photos are fantastic. Most real estate agents use professional photographers. They're gonna make the house look fantastic. So if you're not using a real estate agent, bring in a professional photographer, have them come and take photos, because cell phone photos probably don't cut it. As good as cell phone photos are, a professional photographer is gonna make it look that much better. It elevates you from the competition. Now, before you take those photos, you might wanna do some staging. So whether it's rearranging your existing furniture or bringing in a professional person, you're gonna have to decide whether it makes sense. Now, if you already live in the house, you can probably rearrange a lot of your existing furniture. You're gonna wanna declutter though, make the house feel as big as possible, because I have yet to have somebody come to me and say, oh my God, this house feels so tight and cozy, I love it. But a lot of people say, wow, this house feels way bigger than I thought it was. I'm really impressed. So might want to rearrange and declutter a little bit, maybe take some stuff out, make those rooms feel bigger, especially if they're smaller bedrooms or something like that. Just have, a nice bed and a night table and stuff like that, make it feel way bigger. Now, when it comes to staging, you're gonna have to weigh the cost, because staging can be very expensive, to the benefit. If you have a vacant house, staging might make a big difference. It's gonna make it feel more welcoming, and you can kind of see where furniture is gonna lay out and how it's gonna work. A vacant house, you can't really get the idea of how big rooms are as much, and it doesn't sound as good because it has that echoey sound to it, kind of a hollow feeling to it. So you help improve that as well. What about virtual staging? This is something that started to come up in the last little while, where you send in your photos to an online company and they can add or delete furniture. I think it's actually a really cool option. I haven't used it yet, but I have seen people that have, and I think it looks fantastic. So that might be a cost-effective way to take a vacant house and make it look a little bit more appealing. So you want to make sure that the house looks good. Now, that's just for photos. What about when somebody comes to see the house in person? One thing that I think is really beneficial, leave the lights on. A house that's dark, especially at night, just doesn't feel as welcoming. It's way easier as you're driving down to see the house with the lights on and know, yep, that's where I'm going. So leave the lights on, and that includes the interior lights as well. Person opens the front door and they go, wow, this house looks fantastic, because you've got the lights on, they can see the whole house right away. So you can do a couple of things like that that will really help improve how your house shows. Now, when they're in your house, you want them to be focused on buying the house because they see themselves living there. So one thing you can do is, like in photos, you want to take down those personal photos, family photos, things like that. Take those down maybe as well for showings, because we're social creatures. As soon as you see somebody's face, you're drawn to it. So if you can take that down, and now they're just focused on looking at the house, not trying to figure out if they know the person on the wall or if they know your kids, something like that, it's gonna help set the mood, keep them focused. So the visual side of a house is obviously very important, and those are some tips you can use to help improve the chances of getting your house sold by making it look better. The last human sense is, of course, the sense of taste. And what you don't want is somebody leaving your house with a bad taste in their mouth. I've had many showings where they went terribly bad because the house smelled funny, or it was messy, or there was unfinished jobs everywhere. These buyers, when they go through your house, they see these things or smell these things or touch these things, and they cannot get past it, and they can't see themselves living in your house. And if they can't see themselves living in your house, it's gonna be tough for them to wanna buy your house. So you can use these tips, and if you do, I promise you, a buyer is going to leave your house saying, I see myself living here. This is a fantastic house. And it doesn't matter if we're in a great market or a not so great market. And speaking of market, if you wanna know where the Canadian real estate market's at right now, boom, here's my most recent Canadian housing market update. You can check that out. But if you want just additional seller tips, more tricks on how to get your house sold, here's my sellers playlist right there. Check that out. I guarantee you're gonna find some useful information there. Thanks for watching, everybody.